sponsor also, their responsibilities attached to sponsor.
Okay.
That you want the immigration agency or the U.S. immigration agency will ask you to financially support this person.
Okay.
And again, I think that anybody who has question about individual cases should consult with the immigration lawyer. I'm just really discussing in general how that works.
Now, where do you find this immigration lawyer? Is it at the immigration department, or do you find a lawyer that says he's dealing in immigration? Because this is a problem that we're hearing. People pay so much money to this immigration lawyer, and if they're not well, American citizen would do it anyway. So if they're foreigner, they're coming from another land, and they are in a community, and the lawyer say that he deals with immigration, or they hear through what we call the grapevine. Someone say, I use lawyer Ruddy over here, or whatever, or lawyer or whatever, and then let's just use the name lawyer Ruddy. Lawyer Ruddy at the time takes the money. Let's just say. So how do you find out whether this person is a reputable lawyer?
Well, my immigration lawyer told me once, and this is his advice, is that when he started, how do you say, told me that he was going to stop his practice. So he wanted me to find somebody else, and he given me referrals. But he said, whenever you find an immigration lawyer, he wants me to find somebody with 10 years experience.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that every lawyer.
Well, then let me ask you this.
But I'm saying that the immigration system is very complex. It requires some years of experience to master certain immigrant visa areas, and then that some experience is very key in order to file a petition successfully and with good, the right, information, right? Sure. And that it wouldn't get returned, and then that will take, extra amount of time for your petition to go in again, because they could reject your case because certain information was missing, or because...
So at the time of rejecting your case, have your visa run out? Or is your visa on hold while you're going through this here?
Usually, that's a good question, and I'm not going to speak for every visa.
Sure.
But in general, if you file something that the immigration agencies that knows that is already informed that you file a certain petition, and that means you need some time to adjust your status, and you're okay. You're not, we call undocumented. Okay. Your case is pending, so you're okay. Every immigrant visa takes different amount of time. Some takes 15 days if you pay extra for premium processing, and then some family sponsorship cases could take 10 years. Okay. So it's all hard to say, but usually those 10-year cases, they are waiting somewhere else, so they have.
Okay, let me ask you: can you do it without a lawyer? Can you become an American citizen without a lawyer? How do we do that?
You could, and then USCIS.gov. It's the Immigration Services now it's under the Department of Homeland Security.
Sure.
And it used to call it the Immigration and Naturalization Services.
Yes,
INS. Everybody knows that term, and they changed that in 2003. Especially after 9/11, they restructured the whole immigration system. So they have all the forms available on the website. And again, I'm not recommending everyone not to use a lawyer. If there's any kind of change status or petition, refugee or asylees, and then those kind of things that you need to prove that you are a qualified person, I think you should find a lawyer. You always find a lawyer. but if just filing a form that you feel like you could do it yourself, I think people should feel empowered to do it, and then download the form and make sure everything's filled out, and then you could have your friend or a lawyer friend or whatever friend that you feel like.
Well, what kind of questions are on a form that the ordinary person would understand?
Yeah, every form is different, right? Basic
information. I mean, like, is it all basic? It would have to be who's your mother, who's your father, and where you're from, and your blood type and things of that nature. I'm just trying to figure out what for the audience. What would be on the form that I actually need a lawyer that I wouldn't understand?
Well, oh my God, I can't even speak to that.
How big is the form?
The form is not that long. Usually form could be 2, 3, 4 pages.
Sure.
But the attachments are long, right? The things that comes along with the form, that's required to complete this application, could be this thick. For instance, I'll just share with you that I am sponsored by my employer.
Okay.
So that's why I know a lot about employment immigration. My file, every time, it could be this thick, and then so over the years I have this thick. And it's a very simple, straightforward employment, and not, so if you're talking about a very complicated asylee case, it could be also this big. So in both cases, you need a lawyer. Okay? So my agency does all kinds of application if people qualify, and we charge sliding fee scale. We charge much less than private lawyers.
Okay.
But for things like work permit, family sponsorship, we do charge a fee because, most of the time, it's really consumed us a lot of time to do the application. But we are funded to process those humanitarian immigrant status. For instance, victims of domestic violence, victims of crimes, political asylees, refugees, special juvenile status, meaning that people, children who have come here without parents, or they're afraid to go back and the parents have neglected the child. So those kind of special immigrant visa that we process for free.
For free, okay.
Because it is our mission to really try to get the most vulnerable population the legal status or the things that they need in order to stay here. So that's just give you an example, of this immigration law, world, right? And there are other private practice lawyers who charge, fees, range from a couple $100 to, $5,000 for different things.
But then that right there is kind of putting the wagon before the horse in terms of, if you ask me for $5,000 and I've been in the country a year, what kind of job do I have to be able to give you $1,000? Can I finance it? 5,000, yeah. Can I finance it, or can I mean, how do I go to a lawyer with, how do I go to a lawyer if I just come to the country last year, I'm here 1 year, I'm trying to become legal, to give the lawyer $5,000, I wouldn't have, how do you get that money?
Well,
do you say
in this country, right?
Sure.
A lot of things are not based on needs. A lot of things are based on expertise.
Sure.
And then, lawyer is a very specialized field, right? So now, the 5,000 can mean that people who have, who are fighting deportation and who may have criminal records, and that they are fighting deportation. And the criminal lawyers you need an immigration lawyer who have criminal defense experience.
Okay.
Those, they charge a lot. It could be, somewhere like 3,000, 6,000. It depends on the case. And every step they charge more.
Okay.
So it could mean that, or it could mean that, you could be an entrepreneur who is doing like $500,000 or $1 million investment, right? that means you could afford, right? You can pay more than other people, so they charge you more. And it could